Hello once again my friends and welcome to yet another PhilbertGreen painting video. As always, this isn't really a professional tutorial, but I do hope it does help if you are following along at home. Friendly faces are rare to find in an Umbrella BOW attack, but luckily at least one law enforcer still stands. It's RPD Employee of the Bloody Year at this point, Marvin Branagh. The next video in the Last Escape expansion box, we get another new character to play as, despite the fact he only appears as a corpse in the video game. Maybe this time around we can save him from his untimely fate? Just like my other videos, if you are following along at home, just take your time and go at a pace that you are comfortable with. As ever, we'll be starting off by basing him with Mechanicus Standard Grey. With our top boy based up, and ready to save the survivors in the other rooms, I use a paint called the Fang to paint his trousers. Again, much the same as our last video, we have a pre-existing recipe to work from, the undead police from our zombies video. As always, I thinned down my paints and applied at least 2 thin coats. Next up, I used Russ Grey to paint his shirt, taking care to avoid the badges on his shoulders and the one he has pinned on his chest. I also didn't paint the lapels on his collar. Do you want to know why? Because I used Fenrisian Grey to paint those next. On closer inspection of the model, it turns out Mighty Marv is wearing some kind of a t-shirt or vest under his shirt, so I carefully used white scar just to paint it. Next up, it's time to paint his badges. Firstly, I used a very watered down the Fang to colour the main body of the patch and get it in between the plates. Then I followed that up by painting yet another fiddly bit. I used Retributor Armour to pick out the plates on the badges, then finally did the same again to paint the chest piece. Our second favourite go-to paint these days, Corvus Black, makes its debut appearance in this video as I used it to paint Marv's belt and his shoes. I liked how Dryad Bark in the last video gave a sort of leathery appearance to Tyrell's gun holster, so I used it again to paint not only Officer Branagh's holster, but also the various pouches hanging from his utility belt. And while not clear in the video due to Marvin's hands being very helpfully in the way, I used a lead Belcher just to paint his belt buckle. And now the model is really coming together. I used Rhinox Hide to paint his skin. On closer inspection, Marvin does have a very small goatee which I tried not to paint, but I think I got most of it. And speaking of hair, I used Abaddon Black for his head hair, and then tried to carefully pick out that pesky goatee. The last thing to do was paint the heat that our tragic hero is packing. For a little variation from almost everyone else we've painted so far, I decided to paint his handgun with lead Belcher for a sleek, silver-looking affair. With Mighty Morphin Marvin Branagh looking ready to bust some zombie heads, it's time for the wash stage. You guessed it, Nuln Oil is up first to wash his clothes, boots, badges and gun, being careful on the lighter colours such as his shirt and white tee to only get it into the creases and folds. I followed that up by using Reikland Fleshshade next on his skin to get all that lovely definition, and then finished off our Officer of the Law with Astrogranite Technical Paint, Nuln Oil, Celestra Grey. As we have another ally for our roster, our big friendly policeman gets the blue band around the base. And there you have it. Another hero with a tragic fate awaiting him in Raccoon City, still trying to uphold the law in a lawless post-apocalyptic wasteland. Try not to get him infected, or he might meet Leon and Claire looking a little worse for wear. Marvin was a really fun model to paint. Deciding to paint some of the zombie minis as RPD policemen gave us a decent recipe for our uniform, and painting a non-torn up and dishevelled one was a good challenge. I'm very pleased with our heroic RPD defender, and his new skills he brings to the tabletop make him a useful member of the team. Once again, thank you all for watching, I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Stay safe, survivors!